Hello, this is Geometry Topic 1-4, finding the area of a regular hexagon. So, finally we get to a shape that we really didn't have a good way of finding the area of before, and now we have a good way to find the area of it. So we've got a regular hexagon. That means that all the sides are the same, and we're going to give you a method to find the area of that hexagon. So we're going to label the parts. Again, this piece right here is the side, and the center, the radius, and the apothem. Okay? So, same as all of our other shapes. This time, this one is the 60-degree angle, and that one is the 30. And so here we have x, 2x, and x on the square root of 3. All right, well, let's go ahead and move on. You may notice that the ink on this particular copy isn't very good. Yours may not be good either. I'm going to go ahead and work through this. I'll make some things darker in case you need to. So our area of a regular polygon, 1/2 the perimeter times the apothem. And now we have this polygon. So I'm going to go ahead and fix the shape up a little bit first. And this is 4 on the square root of 3 centimeters. So, if this is 4 on the square root of 3, then this we divide by the square root of 3 and we just get that is 4. And so the length of the whole side is 8. Now we look at our perimeter. We have 6 sides, so that would be 8 times 6 is 48. And then our apothem, we said was 4 on the square root of 3. And now 1/2 perimeter apothem, so 1/2 times 48 times 4 on the square root of 3. Now again, we only have one radical, so we're going to ignore it and just tack it on to the end. And so I'm going to do 1/2 times 48 times 4, and we get 96. And the square root of 3 just kind of tacks on. So this is 96 on the square root of 3 square centimeters. Moving on to example number 2. Here they've given us the apothem. Well, that was nice. This is the apothem, and I need to find what that piece is. Well, 6 equals x on the square root of 2, and we need to figure out what x is. So we're going to divide by the square root of 2, which just means I'm going to take 6 divided by 2, which is 3, and tack on the square root of 2. So if this is 3 on the square root of 2, that means that this is 6 on the square root of 2. So my perimeter, I have 6 of these sides. 6 times 6 is 36 on the square root of 2, with an apothem of 6. So now we do 1/2 times the perimeter. This is not square root of 2. This is square root of 3. Still holds true, all the things that I've said, except for that's for 3's, times 6. So 1/2 times 36 times 6 is 108 on the square root of 3. So that would be 108 on the square root of 3 square inches. Moving on to example number 3. want to find the area of the regular polygon below. So in case you can't see it real well, this says that this side is 12 centimeters. So that means that half of that would be 6, and so our apothem would be 6 on the square root of 3. So our perimeter, 12 times 6, is 72. Our apothem, 6 on the square root of 3. So 1/2 times 72 times 6 on the square root of 3 is 216 on the square root of 3. And those would be square centimeters. And now, for example number 4, we're given the radius, which means that half of the radius would be 7. So the apothem is 7 on the square root of 3. Well, this is 7. The whole side is 14. Notice it's the same as our radius. And so the whole thing would be 14 times 6, and our perimeter is 84. With an apothem of 7 on the square root of 3, we do 1/2 times 84 times 7 on the square root of 3. And we get 294 on the square root of 3. And this would be in centimeters squared. We have a third page to this set of notes. So let's go ahead and have a look at example number 5. They flipped the picture around, but they still gave us a radius, which means that this side would be 5, the whole side would be 10, and this would be 5 on the square root of 3. Nothing changed. So our perimeter, we have 10, we have 6 of those, would be 60. Our apothem would be 5 on the square root of 3. So we do 1/2 times 60 times 5 on the square root of 3. And we get 150 on the square root of 3. And there are no units, so we're going to leave the units off. Now for our last example. Here they told us that the perimeter is 120. Draw my hexagon. Doesn't really look regular. I'm not awesome at drawing perfect hexagons. However, I know if my perimeter is 120, I divide that by 6, and I get that each side is 20, which means that half of the side is 10, and my apothem is 10 on the square root of 3. So that means that I have 1/2 times 120 times 10 on the square root of 3. And that gives me 600 on the square root of 3. And my units are in square centimeters. So hopefully the last 2 assignments have given you plenty of practice of going through the cycle of finding the apothem and the perimeter, and these are easy. In case you have forgotten, I'm going to go ahead and use some of this room on the bottom to go through the chain of events. If you're given the radius, you're going to use that to find the short leg of your 90-degree triangle, which you'll then use to find the long leg of your 90-degree triangle. And here the short leg happens to be 1/2 the side, and the long leg happens to be the apothem. Now once we know half the side, we use that to find the whole side. And we can use the whole side to find the perimeter. Now, let's say instead you were given the perimeter. Well, you can use the perimeter to find the whole side, which you can then use to find the half side, which you can then use to find your apophthegm. Or if you're given your apophthegm, you can use that to find the short leg, which you can use to find the whole side, which you can use to find the perimeter. So, this is just a little chart for helping you find the different parts that you need. And again, your formula is 1/2 the perimeter times the apophthegm. Good luck on your assignment, and have a good day.